Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Career Development Interview Series, and we're now at episode 3. And I'm super thrilled to welcome Dr. Ramya Raghavendra. In a minute, I'll let her introduce herself with a career path, but let me just, introduce in my way, the way I know Ramya. So I got to know Ramya when she was a PhD student at UC Santa Barbara. Her advisor is a good friend of mine, Elizabeth Belding. So she came to HP and worked with Partha, who's been doing amazing work on data centers, and he's now a Google Fellow. So Ramya did some really important work on power management that actually affects the whole environment and sustainability. And then she went back. I think she done some other couple good internships. Then she graduated and went to IBM Research in New York, where again, she worked with my good friend, Kangwon Lee, and she built a very good career there. And recently, I think about 2 years ago, she joined Facebook/Meta AI, and she's leading the efforts on sustainable AI. So very pleased to have you. Welcome, Ramya. Maybe you can kind of say hello to students and give your own introduction.
Sure. First of all, thank you, SJ, for the introduction and for the opportunity to talk to students. It's always super refreshing to be able to do that. I think you covered most of it. I started my graduate school in Santa Barbara doing my master's and PhD in computer science. My focus was on wireless networking. And after that, I did several internships at Intel, HP Labs, Microsoft Research, and following which I had a long career in IBM Research as researcher in TJ Watson Labs, which is where I had an interesting progression from wireless networking to machine learning. And in the last year and a half or so, I've been at Meta. I drive the Green AI program where we look at building AI models efficiently.
And then how did you decide to go to the States for graduate school?
I think it was just having always lived in one country and one culture. I was interested in trying something new, and US was a natural choice because of how many options you have, how many people you already know who are studying there. It seems like a comfortable choice. And of course, the quality of education is not something I had to think twice about.
So you went to University of California, Santa Barbara, and once you get there, like, what was your process in deciding, you want to work on wireless networks and also, choosing your advisor?
Yeah, that was, I think it sort of happened even prior to getting there. I did my internships in Daimler Chrysler, which makes the Mercedes-Benz cars, and we were working on ad hoc wireless networking.
Oh, wow.
And I had the opportunity to publish a paper on the topic. So I sort of knew what the problems were, and I knew Professor Belding before I got there. So I think one of the main reasons I chose that was because I knew of her and her work, and she was sort of interested in having me as one of her students. And when I went there, I worked on a project I took her course, worked on a project, and I realized I still like it and I find it interesting. And continued to work with her. We had a good both. I liked the area. We also had a good personal relationship for it. So it was easy for me to.
Then I guess your internship, was that an undergrad?
Yes.
So how did you get that internship? And I mean, did you know like you were going to work on add-on networks, or you just showed up and that was something that was given to you and you just liked it, or?
Oh, you're really testing my memory here. 2 was so long ago. So I remember it's common for us to do internships in our final semester. We are evaluated on it, so it's taken seriously, and the companies make create opportunities for students to try. And you also sort of know it could be your next job. So it's taken seriously, not unlike here. And I remember applying to a few companies, and this was a research lab, and we had the opportunity to write papers. And I knew that here's a great chance for me to work on research before showing up in grad school and see if it's good for me.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think this leads to my next question, because if we look at your PhD work, I mean, you already brought up, like, you had 3 really good industry internships. You know, I think you were in Microsoft Research, you were at Intel Labs and HP Labs. So did this undergrad experience kind of help you do it? Like, I mean, were you motivated to get internships? Is it something you recommend the students to do it? And, you know, any tips on getting, I mean, internships at these top companies is not easy to obtain, right? So do you,
Yeah.
you have tips on getting such internships?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it for anybody who's thinking about it. It gives you a very compact experience of what working in the industry would be. You have a nicely packaged problem. You work with some of your core workers, and you know, most importantly, you get to know what are the problems important to the industry, and if this is something you will enjoy working on. And you get to know about the company culture better than any other way. How to go about it is, you know, just, you know, make sure you do your coursework, you learn your material, but also do hands-on projects. And I applied far and wide. One of the things that I asked folks, like, hey, why did you pick my resume over all the others you got, was I consistently got the answer that I showed up with a lot of interest and passion, and I was genuine about you know, that I wanted to do that work and succeed. So I guess taking that passion with you and showing it helps a lot.
Hmm. So you definitely come prepared. You were ready, basically.
Right. I usually don't pick a problem if I don't think I will be interested in it. But when
Right.
I go, I bring my 100%, and I really
Okay.
want to
Okay.
do a good job.
So, I mean, you've done a lot of good things at IBM, and one of the questions, you know, student asked was, you know, is there any benefit or maybe even a downside of having worked at a, you know, one company for a long time? And then, you know, what kind of triggered you to actually make a move
Right.
to Meta?
I have a lot of different thoughts on it, and I can share. One point is that when you choose something like academia or research labs, which are not terribly different in my opinion, at least not back in the day, you sort of had the freedom to pick on a problem and work on it. There's a lot of advantages. You have the freedom to work on a problem of your choosing. You're publishing, you're still active in your community, you're traveling, giving talks at conferences. You are somewhat isolated from the use of this technology, like what happens after you publish your paper or you put out an open source tool or any of that. So, and at some point, another consequence of that is it's sort of a fairly flat hierarchy. And if you're thinking about, you know, fancy titles and growing in your career and managing large organizations, that's definitely not the right place to do it. So so staying for a while in going back to your question, staying 10 years in IBM was definitely gave me a lot of opportunity to work on research problems. I can't think of any other place where I could have started off in networking and slowly moved to machine learning. It gives you the time and the space to go study if you are not good at it, learn, gain skills, and publish papers or do research. So I stayed there for a long time because I really enjoyed that part, and I could continuously keep publishing and working on it. That's a huge advantage. And I think that's why you choose that career. And how is it moving after 10 years? I mean, is there any bad part? I think those are, like I mentioned, right?
Yeah.
It's natural to start questioning, like what happens, like you publish research, it sits on a shelf a lot of times till all the other stars align and it's used in production. Or as it happens in some cases, there is just the market dynamics pushes you to think about moving your research into production, and you start getting into applied research and development, so that at some point you start questioning, like, is this the right place to do research and development, or are there places where this work can be done much more effectively, or at a pace that you want to do. So I think that was one of the main reasons I moved.
So now should I say Meta, or can I still say Facebook?
I think we're supposed to say Meta if you're referring to the company. Yeah,
let's go with Meta. So one of the student question was also, so what are some of the perks working at Meta? Is the, because I mean, you have, not only IBM, you also done some internships, and I'm sure you also see some other companies in different, cool work environment, how's the cafeteria, how's the food, those kind of things.
Right. To me, the biggest perks about working, especially at Meta, is the bottom-up culture. It's somehow still, in a small sense, maintains a feeling of a startup where me as an individual contributor, I can pick and choose what I want to work on in the scope of problems that we are looking at. And the problems and your work is not handed down top down. So I do feel like there's a lot of freedom to work on, and some of the smartest people that you can work with. It's amazing, and I think when you're working with people who are really good at their jobs, it's just a pleasure to go to work, learn, and things go smoothly. Of course, the material pleasures are great. There's a lot of free food everywhere, Fresher 15, you might have all heard. There's, gelato and smoothies and everything. There's the perks are amazing. And it has some of the, it has great benefits, and they take good care of the employees.
Right. So thanks again for your time and sharing your experiences and advice. Do you have any general concluding remarks or advice to, undergrads and grad students?
Wow, advice. Let's see, I'm going to maybe summarize what helped me in my career. So very quickly, I sort of forged my career on maximizing life experiences, trying new things and seeing if I like them. And I always remembered it's supposed to feel scary and terrifying. That means that I am pushing myself and learning new things. So it's okay, and I give myself that latitude. For me, the learning is the reward, and I don't think about, hey, I want this title or I want to do this. And I usually, when I make that a consequence, I enjoy my work and the relationships I build, and that sort of helped me. I am not great at it, but I make a point to ask for help, and both collaborate and bring people along the way and build a community. And I always sort of look at, for me, the professional success follows as personal satisfaction. So I pick on problems that I know I'm going to be passionate on, and I'm going to be okay spending lots and lots of hours working on. So those are the things that's helped me succeed and make it satisfying.
Right.
And finally, thank you so much for the opportunity. First of all, it's such a pleasure talking to you. It must have been several years, and great to chat with you again. And thank you for introducing me to your students.
Yeah, I think it will inspire a lot of students. And I want to add on what you said at the end. I think you said, work on problems you're going to be passionate about, but that also involves working for a company that gives you the freedom and space to work on something you're passionate about, right? So that's, I think you also have very good employers throughout your career, and finding those kind of companies is also, very important.
Right, 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 right. I think this is where ask for help matters. So like, even when I landed at Meta, I was able to sort of say, hey, this is important and something I'm passionate about. And definitely I have the freedom to work on it. So, yes, choose your company and your next career such that people recognize what your strengths are. And there's always work to do. So you might as well work on something where your strengths and passions can be applied.
Right, right. And and also, I know we have to conclude, but I think asking for help is okay because you have built good relationships, right? And that's why you also have to help other people, right?
Right, right, right,
And
right.
yeah, and I think even Steve Jobs said this, right? Always ask for help, because most of the time when you ask for help, people feel good when somebody asks for help. Right? It means like they respect you and they think they could learn from you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most people know as they grow that they're always going to learn as much from their mentees than that the mentees learn from them. So usually most people are willing to help. Sometimes it's, little, depends on the time, you might get little help or a lot of help. But really the worst thing that can happen is people will say no, but that, most likely not.
Yeah. Right. All right, yeah. I mean, I
On
think
that
you,
note, if
yeah,
anybody wants to reach out, or you
yeah,
have my emails, definitely students are free and to chat, and I would love
right.
to.
Or they can be friends with you on Facebook. Or should we all get the VR gears and meet at the
Yes, yes, you
metaverse?
should. Yes, yes, you should.
Ramya, I think you delivered very important message to our students. So on behalf of all the students, thank you very much. And on a personal level, I hope to stay in touch again. And yes, thank you
Stay
very
in
much,
touch.
Ramya. All right, stay
Bye.
healthy and safe.
Thank you for staying up late.
No problem. It was fun.
Very late. Yeah,
Yep.
bye.
Bye.